Welcome everybody, this is Jason and the name of this week's workshop is Accessorize Your Life Part 2. This is the second part of a start to finish workshop about building accessories. This part covers linking, editing, and testing. So let's have a look. What have we done so far? In the previous workshop, we extracted a recolor and built a mesh in Milkshape and SimPE. Now the mesh is ready to use. What do we have left to do? We still need to link the mesh to the recolor, do some final editing, and test the mesh in game. How do we do this? There are two methods to do this. There's SimPE and there's this newfangled tool called SceneGraph Plus, and we'll be covering both. So in SimPE, we open the recolor, we select the 3IDR in the resource tree, and then we click on the instance header to sort descending, that's lowest to highest. In SimPE, the way that we link, we open the recolor, then we select the 3IDR in the resource tree and we sort descending, that's lowest to highest. We just double click on the instance header. Once we've done that, we can see that there are three distinct groups of 3IDR. There are the low range 3IDR, those start from 1 and go up to C or D, depending on how many life stages there are or how many binks there are, because these are the ones that correspond directly to the binks. And then we have the high range 3IDR, the ones that go from 101 all the way up to 4002. These correspond to the life stages, and these are the ones that correspond directly to the XMOL. The ones that we're concentrating on are the high range 3IDR. The numbers indicate the life stage and the gender of each 3IDR. The 3IDR that end in 1 are for females and 2 for males. So 100 are toddlers. So 101 is toddler female, 102 is toddler male. Then we have child, then we have teen, then we have adult, elder, and young adult. So we need to link each mesh to the correct life stage and gender that it corresponds to. So in this example, if we want to link the adult female accessory, we start with 801. Then we select that 800 in the resource list. Then we go Tools, PJSE, Body Tools, Linking Stage. We open the mesh that corresponds to it. We just click OK on the pop-up, and now it's linked. And we just need to repeat that with every 3IDR that we need to link. It's actually a lot easier to link accessories in SceneGraph Plus. To get started in SceneGraph Plus, we just go File, select Package, and we select both the mesh and the recolor. Then we can see that when we initially open SceneGraph Plus, it's going to look something like this. We need to grab that blue crest block and hold Shift. Then we just drag the crest until a dotted line appears around it, and we release it. And we repeat that to just drag the crest over all of the other gray crest blocks and link them together. Then we do the same thing with the SHPE. We just hold SHPE, Shift, drag it over the gray SHPE blocks and release it. Once we're done with that, we can save and close. That accessory is now linked. As far as editing, in SimPE, the way that we do that, we select the TXTR once in the resource tree, then again in the resource list. In the plugin, we right-click on the image, we build DXT, then we click the open link in the DDS builder. We load up the image that we're going to replace the existing image with. We open the image. We don't need to mess with the format or sharpen dropdowns. We just click build. Once that's replaced, we commit and save. And I don't have a slide for SceneGraph Plus, but it's really easy. It's just replacing the texture basically the same way in Scene Graph Plus. I will show you that when we get to that part of the workshop. Binning and categorizing in SimPE. The bin is a property in the XMOL that prevents a sim from wearing two accessories with the same bin value simultaneously. So if you have two hats, they're both binned as 4. If the sim is wearing one hat and you replace it with the other hat, it's automatically going to remove the original accessory because he can't have two with that same value. The category property in the XMOL, that determines which outfits an accessory can be worn with. So can it be worn with casual? Can it be worn with formal, pajamas, underwear? That's what category controls. There's further information. There's a really great article about it in Hats Dream With. I put the link up on the slide there, and I will also have it in the resource post. There's another way to do this that's a lot better, faster, and easier. We can use Outfit Organizer. So in Outfit Organizer, we just open, we make sure that our outfit dropdown is set to accessory. We select in the upper pane the accessory that we're going to edit, and then in this lower pane here, we can select the categories that we want it wearable in, and we can also choose the multi-box to select the bin, which is really cool, and I will show you how to do that when we get to the editing part. So then we've got the category checkbox. This multi-box, this is really cool. I worked with William on this. There's an editable XML if you wanted to add your own custom binning values. But for example, say I want to, instead of jewelry, I want to categorize it as a right hand accessory. If you categorize it like this, then the sim can only have one accessory at a time in the right hand, which is a really handy feature like for storytelling props. Once you've done all of that, you can test the accessory in game like so. And if you've done everything right, it just clings to the joints that you linked it to. First, we open SimPE, and then I'm going to go to my saved Sims folder. I've already got these two recolors set up. What I want to do, because this is only wearable by adults, we've got a bunch of extra 3IDR and XMOL that we need to get rid of. So what we do, select all resource, then we sort descending. Then you can see here, there are all of these teen XMOL and 3IDR that we don't really need. Let's just, we shift select those in the resource list. We right click, we select delete in the dropdown, and we save. And we now no longer have any teen resources. Now, because I'm super extra, I would run, if it were one of my projects, I would run the accessory through Body Shop once more, just so that it gets rid of all of the low range 3IDR and also the binks that are unused. But for the purpose of this workshop, we're just doing a really simple shift select, delete, and save. Okay, next step. Let's go to where I created the meshes. Just going to grab those meshes and I'm going to move them into saved sims. Now, the one that says Buckethead, I'm going to do this oh, sorry, it's open in SimPE. Okay, the one that says Buckethead, we're going to do this the old school way. We're going to do this all in SimPE. And the one that says plunger, we're going to do this the new school way with the Sims 2 tool suite. So we pop open Buckethead. The first thing that we need to do is link the 3IDR. So we select the 3IDR in the resource tree, make sure they're sorted descending, and we need to find 801. So we select 801. We go Tools, PJSE, Body Mesh Tools, Linking Stage. Just ignore the pop-up, just click OK, and we link that to Buckethead. 802, because there isn't a separate mesh for male, I'm just going to link them all to this. Ignore the pop-up, Buckethead. Same thing, elder female, Buckethead. Elder male, Buckethead. Young adult female, Buckethead. Young adult male, Buckethead. Okay, so we can now give that a quick save. Then we move on to texture image. For frame, I go build DXT, open, and I just want the bucket. Make sure that's DXT3, we build, we commit. Now the lens, I don't need this to be super huge. I really don't need it at all, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to go build DXT. And in my case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to replace this with a teeny tiny swatch. Because we don't need a giant resource or something that we don't even see. So I just replace that with a 32 by 32 texture, or if you have a different method, you can use that. But that's what I'm going to do. Now we've done the 3IDR, we've done the TXTR, we now do the XMOL. So select the XMOL here. Select that first XMOL. And we can see that for category, it's set to 1327. So say I don't want it wearable in every category. Say I just want it, okay, I want it casual, formal, gym clothes, and outerwear. So outerwear is 1000. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. So we go calculator.
Did you input the values in decimal? I've never used a programmer calculator, but don't you need to input the values in hexadecimal?
No, okay, so it gives that's the hex value.
So I think if you have hex selected when you enter them, you get the right value.
Yes. But you can input it as decimal and then convert to hex.
Yeah, but the values shown on Hat's blog aren't decimal values, they're hexadecimal. So then you would need to.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, let's try that really quick. So we make sure that we're on hexadecimal. We go outerwear plus gym clothes. Formal and casual. And yeah, it just says 1, 2, 2, 6. Okay. Where is it different? What if I add swimwear? There it is. So that's why I recommend the programmer's calculator. If you're just going to sum these, as Rudhira said, don't be an idiot. Use the enter them as hexadecimal, and then use that hexadecimal value in SimPE. So in this case, we're just going to do 1227 because those are the 4 categories that I wanted in. Okay. back to SimPE. So we're removing whatever what is 100? Maternity. We don't need these in maternity. So let's just take that 1227 and paste it to the category property and all of the other XMOL. Don't worry about it. We're not quite done yet. We've got one more thing to edit. So we commit. Then I'm going back to the project folder, but you can check this in the resource post as well. I've got this note that just says bin notes workshop. In addition to categorizing the accessories, we need to bin them. So I've gone ahead and done the categories. Then we go back up to the adult female XMOL. And I'm looking at historical fantasy because, you know, it's just a bucket. Back in the day, before William invented Outfit Organizer and these editable lists, I used to do this the old school way. So we copy the value for helmet here. We go to the bin in XMOL and we just paste that over. And we do the same with the bin for all of the XMOL. Okay, and then we can save. And that's it. That's how we would edit an accessory the old school way. However, there have been innovations in the Sims 2 community in the last 20-ish years. There's this suite of tools called Sims 2 Tools, made by my friend William, that I highly recommend. So what we're going to do first, we pop open Scene Graph Plus, and you can see I'm using the latest version, which is 2.5. It has some cool features. I might delve into those in a future workshop, but for now, we're just using it to link an accessory. So we go select package. Then we go to our saved Sims folder. We're selecting plunger, the plunger recolor, and the plunger mesh, and we open those. Then we go realign to grid. Oh, because they're sorted alphabetically. Okay, not a problem. So to make sure that this dude gets over here, we grab the crest block, we hold Control and Alt, and we just slide that one over. We just slide the whole thing over. And I know that's kind of janky, but this is how I roll. Okay, so once we've got the mesh over on this side of the grid, we can see that we've got 6 different crests, 6 different grayed out crests. We've got elder female, we've got elder male, etc. What we're going to do here, we just grab the crest block by itself. We hold down Shift. We go up until we get that dotted line around the gray block, and we just drop. We do the same thing here. We do the same thing here. We do the same thing here. That's linking the crest. And let's realign to grid. Now When we pop into realign to grid, it automatically adjusts. We do the same thing with the shape block. Now, if you had different meshes for different genders or age groups, you could use the filtering feature. And that in version 2.5, a cool thing about that is that it automatically realigns to grid when you adjust the filters. So another thing that I'm seeing here, we've got broken the file name. The file name in the TXMT, the ones that are underlined, those don't have the name of the texture in the file list. So what we do here, we just box select all of those. We right click, fix file list, done. And then the same, let's just grab these here as well. Fix file list. And we've got 2 more down at the very end. This is because there are 2 materials for every life stage and gender. Then another thing that we can do here, this is our lens TXMT. This is, okay, we can see that one's frame and that one's a rim. So we grab the rim, we slide that over and connect it with a rim. That's frame. Just make sure that they're matching. So we're hovering on that connector line there. That's what we're looking at. That one says frame, that one says frame. Boom, done. And that one says lens, and that one says lens. So we take the lens, boom, we're done. And then we need to fix the textures. So we grab this texture, show texture. So we've got this black thing. That's no good. Okay, so how do we do this? We double click on the box, and we're going to get this thing that looks a whole lot like DXT Builder. So we're still on DXT. We've only got 1 level of maps, which is fine. We select. We go to our folder, and we select plunger. Because this is the frame, but the plunger should be set to frame. We click change, and to double check that, we just double click on the box. Oh no, I'm sorry. We go back to the box, we right click, and we show texture. There we go. Then this texture, we don't need that huge image, so we double click on the box, we select, and I'm going to go back to my swatches folder. So I'm just going to replace it with a tiny swatch. If this were, like, if I were for real doing a project, I would probably just go back and clone from an accessory that doesn't have that rim group and do it that way. But this is fine too. Okay, we have successfully linked the mesh and replaced the textures. We only have our editing left. So let's close out of there. And then we go to another Sims Tools application called Outfit Organizer. We go File. Okay, we need to make sure that in Outfit Organizer, we need to make sure that we're switched to Accessories. We go to Accessories, we select folder. No, sorry, it's in Saved Sims. We select that folder. Now we're not as concerned with the mesh or bucket head because that's already been edited. But let's expand this bottom pane up so we can see what we're looking at. We select plunger in the package pane here. Then in this bottom pane, we select all 6 of these. We just shift select those. And down here, we can adjust the category that it's in. I want to remove maternity. And then in this multi-box, sorry, the bottom multi-box, it says 15 is binned as 15, I believe, is maxes. We don't want that. So we just select this drop down and we have all of these custom bins that I think most of them ship with 3.3. They're already built into 3.3, but I have a couple that I added on my own. I just want Nix Nevis, the Armory, right hand. So I'm binning it for right hand the way that I bin all of my like medieval-ish accessories. And we just save all. And that's it for Outfit Organizer. We're ready to test now. There we go. It looks like it's jointed correctly, but the way that or a fun way to test that, we just have her dance, TS2, and we'll do shake booty. So you can see the accessory moves with her, so we know that it's jointed correctly. And that's pretty much it. That's how you would make accessories start to finish.
Oh, I started
good here.
typing, but it kind of looked like the plunger had a transparency issue, though.
Oh, shoot, I already left the game.
Well, it's probably a thing you can just fix in the TXMT anyway.
Yeah, it's that's a good point. Let's go back and double check that right quick.
But I think that kind of happens with accessories sometimes, because
With
if you clone
Maxis
something,
accessories.
like you clone something and it might be like the lens frame or whatever, and then like you're not thinking that it's gonna be transparent later.
Let's
Let's
have
see.
a
Oh
look.
yeah, it's the
The
alpha
thing,
blend mode.
the thing that usually messes that up, that is the lens. But the lens shouldn't be visible.
Oh really?
The frame, which is
Uh,
the okay, this is normally what does it for accessories. If you go to the C material definition tab, then just change that to Sim standard material. Because for some reason, if it's pulling the material as a standard material, it gets wonky for some reason. And I'm not clear if there's a way to do that with the Sims 2 tool suite, but it's a very quick fix in SimPE. You just copy and paste all goodness 24 of the TXMT. Just make sure that it's in Sim standard material. Okay,
no,
that
it's
is
still.
super weird. Oh, I know why. I know why.
Oh, because you need to refresh it?
Yeah. Okay, so we just deselect that and select it again. That should solve the issue. Go back. Hula and more. Dance. Whoa.
Yeah, that looks fixed.
Yeah, that did it. 90% of the time with accessories, that's the issue. Maxis is just dumb like that, and it pulls the wrong shader for accessories.